This clash stunned America and sent shockwaves.
And then you got to look your opponent straight in the eye. And does your mind change at all when you see that? Is there anything you saw that gives you more confidence?
She definitely looked more nervous this time. Yeah, she was like twitching and stuff, and obviously she wants to end the hype train. She had a bit to say after the fight, but I mean, I'm aggressive enough as it is. You don't want to piss me off before, so we'll just see when we get in there in the cage tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah, of course. She's 7-0. She's undefeated, but she's not unbeatable. I said it before. If I play my cards right, I win the fight.
Through the MMA universe, the knockout. Absolutely devastating. You're watching history unfold. In this video, we'll break down one of the most anticipated showdowns in women's MMA, Dakota Ditcheva versus Malin Hermansson. A high-stakes collision between two elite warriors with contrasting arsenals that had fans worldwide holding their breath. From the opening bell, this wasn't just a fight, it was a battle of wills. Dakota Ditcheva stepped into the cage as an undefeated phenom, her striking background and Muay Thai mastery making her a fan favorite. On the other side stood Malin Hermansson, tough, tenacious and unrelenting. A fighter with grit in her blood and a reputation for never backing down. But what unfolded shocked even Dakota's most die-hard supporters. Right out of the gate, Dakota looked razor-sharp, measured, and coldly efficient. Everyone expected a striking clinic. What they got was something far more surprising. Instead of keeping the fight standing, Dakota took the battle to the ground and made it look effortless. Hermansson attempted to assert herself early, trying to weather the storm and press forward. But Dakota's rhythm, precision, and pressure were simply too much. She delivered clean, calculated strikes, keeping Hermansson off balance and unable to mount any real offense. Then came the moment that changed everything. At around the 3-minute mark, Dakota executed a flawless clinch entry, then swiftly transitioned to the mat. In a matter of seconds, she slid into back control with surgical precision. With the calm of a seasoned black belt, she cinched in a rear naked choke so tight and technically sound that resistance became impossible. At 3:52 of round 1, Malin Hermansson tapped. The arena exploded. Dakota stood tall, not with arrogance, but with the unshakable composure of a champion. This wasn't just another win, it was a message to the entire division. She could now finish fights on the ground just as viciously as she could on her feet. It marked her first professional submission victory, a testament to her evolution as a truly complete mixed martial artist. This bout didn't just elevate her status, it transformed her legacy. Until now, Dakota had been known for her thunderous knockouts and cold-blooded finishes. But this performance showcased her depth, versatility, and calculated savagery. For Malin Hermansson, the night was a painful one, but she showed courage simply by stepping into the cage with such a dominant force. She came prepared, but Dakota's speed, IQ, adaptability proved insurmountable. In under 4 minutes, Dakota Ditcheva delivered a performance that left the world speechless, not just because she won, but because of how she won. Dangerous. Striker no longer. Dakota had now become a threat from every angle. But the story doesn't end there. Enter Taylor Santosa, fighter known as much for her power as her presence. She arrived at the pre-fight press event like a fashion model at a movie premiere. Red lipstick blazing, designer shades on, and a smile that oozed mischief. She turned the stage into a psychological war zone, throwing smirks and shade at every opportunity. Dakota.com, quiet, focused. Taylor, loud, cocky, and playing to the cameras, even before the walkout. Taylor made her statement, applying lipstick, strutting confidently, and blowing kisses to the crowd, mocking her opponent. But once that cage door shut, the games ended. The violence began. Taylor came out like a storm, heavy leg kicks, wild combos, full pressure. Her goal? Bully Dakota into a corner. Force chaos. Win the fight before it even began. But Dakota Ditcheva doesn't crumble under pressure, she thrives in it. She used superior footwork, angles, and impeccable timing to evade Taylor's early onslaught. Light on her feet, she began to dismantle her opponent piece by piece. Sharp jabs, snapping body kicks. Every shot calculated, every movement deliberate. Tyler came to brawl. Dakota came to dominate, and that's exactly what she did. The lights of the arena shimmered like electric stars over a stormy ocean of fans. The noise was deafening, thousands of voices crashing together like waves, rising with each name announced, each strike replayed on the big screen. But beneath all the chaos stood one calm figure, Dakota Ditcheva. Her presence wasn't just that of a fighter walking to the cage. It was a silent declaration that something calculated, something violent, was about to unfold. Her opponent that night, Tyler Santos, was no stranger to danger. With a style defined by aggressive pressure and unrelenting forward movement, Tyler had built a reputation as someone who smiled through punches and walked opponents down like a tank in motion. Her face wore the same smirk as always as she entered, the cage confident, composed, even cocky. But what neither she nor the crowd knew yet was that by the end of the night, that smirk would vanish, replaced by something far more human. The opening bell rang, and the atmosphere tightened like a drum. Tyler immediately pressed forward, throwing out jabs and looping rights in her familiar rhythm, hoping to disrupt Dakota's timing early. But Dakota was unmoved. She wasn't dazzled by the aggression, wasn't fooled by the posturing. Her eyes tracked everything. Her feet glided in perfect harmony with Tyler's pressure. She let the strikes come close, almost close enough to touch, before stepping back just enough. Her counters began to find their way through. Her sharp jab to the nose, clean leg kick that snapped with surgical force. A check. Hook that clipped the cheekbone and reset the range. Round one ended without much visible damage on either.
She never fought with someone like me, so I won't just fight.
Side. But the invisible story had already been written. Dakota had landed the cleaner strikes. Her reactions had been sharper. Tyler was still smiling, but that smile wasn't quite as wide now. She hadn't found the dominance she expected, and deep inside she knew it. The second round began with a spike in energy. Tyler came out faster, more determined. She charged in, hoping to break the rhythm that Dakota had started to settle into. A looping overhand right came sailing forward with all the weight of her frustration behind it, but Dakota saw it. Like she always does. She ducked under the shot, rolled her left shoulder, and fired a short left hook in response. It landed flush on Tyler's jaw with a sickening pop. The Brazilian fighter's legs faltered. Her hands reached out instinctively, not to strike, but to hold on. That was the first moment the audience felt the shift. The first crack in Tyler's armor. Tyler tried to close the distance, reaching for the clinch, but it played directly into Dakota's wheelhouse. With her roots in Muay Thai, Dakota came alive inside the clinch like a serpent coiling tighter. She planted her feet and drove a punishing knee into Tyler's ribs. The air shot from her lungs in a gasp. Then came an elbow, short and devastating, catching Tyler square on the jaw and forcing her to backpedal. It was no longer a fight for dominance. It was now a fight for survival. The crowd sensed it too. They erupted as Dakota stepped forward. With quiet menace, no flurry, no wildness, just precision. Her strikes were clean, her combinations thoughtful, a jab to draw the guard up, a hook to find the side, a low kick to chip away at Tyler's foundation. The pressure was relentless, but it wasn't reckless. Dakota didn't swarm like a brawler. She dissected like a surgeon. Tyler's back hit the fence, and she tried to circle out, but Dakota was there. Another kick to the body bent her slightly. A right cross snapped her head back. The referee was watching closely now. The finish was building inevitable. Dakota saw her opportunity. She took Tyler down with a perfectly timed trip, followed her to the ground, and began a barrage of ground and pound. Each strike was purposeful. There was no flailing, only finality. The ref dove in. It was over. Silence fell for a heartbeat before the crowd erupted. The announcer's voice echoed over the speakers, declaring Dakota Ditcheva the winner by technical knockout. Cameras flashed to Tyler, bloodied, battered, the smile now a memory. Her lipstick smeared, her jaw swollen, her aura shattered, and yet Dakota wasn't done etching her story in blood and dominance. Another name loomed on the horizon, another fighter who thought she had what it took to stop the storm. Her name was Valentina Scott. In the lead up to